it 11? It's 11 o'clock. I'll wait one more minute before we can get started. Okay. We have about 7 participants. Wait one more moment. I'd like to welcome you all. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day so far. I know it's a gloomy spring day. It's with the rain. I'll start just to see if we have a couple more people to log in. Okay, let's see. Chat. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I'd like to welcome you all to the Washington, D.C. Women's Business Center on how to start a business, presented by myself. I'm Latoria Brent, Heidi Shepard, who's our project director. We have Sade McCoy, who's our communication specialist. We have Monty Taylor, who's our resource coordinator. And I am a small business specialist with the D.C. Women's Business Center. So I'm really excited to go through the steps of how to start a business. I'm sure some of you may currently have a business or seeking to start a business. So this is always exciting, and it's always a refresher too to learn some information. So we're gonna get started. Let's go down in the slides. So DC Women's Business Center, I want to tell you a little bit about our center and our services. We're able to assist women entrepreneurs in delivery methods. We provide one-on-one counseling. We provide webinars such as what you're participating in today. We also provide training courses. We do peer-to-peer. We do exchanges. We have a website. We do blogs. We provide women entrepreneurs with a list of resources. We do research reports. So it's a host of different things that we offer to women entrepreneurs. Our mission is to empower women entrepreneurs to build resilient, and successful business strengthening with their community's economy and create the wealth for their families. The DC Women's Business Center is known as the DCWBC, envisions a thriving ecosystem of women entrepreneurs for all nationalities, ethnicities, races, religions in the DC metro region, who have access to the tools, capital, knowledge, and network to create a supportive environment in which to grow their businesses. Part of a network of over 150 women's business centers around the country. We are funded by the SBA, the Small Business Administration, which is also known as the SBA, and we're supported by the National Community Reinvestment Coalition. How do you turn your idea into a business? I know this is always a question that so many people have. You know, I make really good cookies, I can sew, I can do this. So it's all about how can I turn this idea into a business and make it a profitable, or is it just an idea or a hobby? So the one thing that I want you all to consider, and you always ask yourself, few things. Figure out what type of problem you're going to solve. You're solving a problem. You need to find a market, and you need to find support. But most of all, you need to stay positive because you're excited. So regardless of the idea, you want to always remain to stay positive and just ask yourself, am I solving a problem? And I always recommend that you get a notebook, you jot down your ideas, you get creative, you can even put it on a vision board, but that's where it starts. That's how you can start the foundation of how can I turn this idea into a business? And feel free, if you guys have questions, to put them in a chat or just different things, because throughout this presentation, I would like a little bit of interactive. We don't just have to wait till the end to ask questions. We're here to support you in all ways. The first steps to starting your business, you have to determine the vision. It's all about the vision. You got to create a mission. You have to look at objectives and viability of starting an enterprise. So you always want to go back and say, okay, the key questions to ask yourself: what product or services will I offer? That is kind of, going back to what problem am I solving? I'm solving a problem. What is the need of your business? Everyone starts a business based off of there's a need, there was a shortage, there was no supply and demand, or I figured out a better way to do this. Does your business solve that problem? So you want to always know as you're crafting it and coming up with your ideas, what problem is my business going to solve? And then the other thing is, what are the possible risks to starting your business? There's so many different things that you have to consider when you're starting your business. However, you got this great idea, but you may not be good at doing the permits or setting up the legal side or getting the EIN number. You're just focused on the brand and selling. So remember these key questions as you craft and your idea of starting a business. I'm just going to repeat these one more time. What product or service will you offer? What is the need of your business? Does your business solve a problem with a need? And what are the possible risks to starting your business? Go to the next slide. You also want to make sure that you conduct market research. Market research gathers demographic information to better understand the opportunities and challenges for gaining customers. So if you are, whatever business you're trying to start, you have to know what is already out there. What type of customers am I gonna target? Who is my market? Am I gonna be able to solve that problem? And as we go through this presentation, you'll say, who are my competitors? Are they solving this problem? What are the costs? Successful market research will be able to answer questions like, how many people are interested in your product or service? You may have a product or service that only appeals to 5 people, or it may be something that you cook a really good blunt cake, lemon meringue, but that's only for Easter, and that's only for your family. Where does your customers live? Which goes back to, where is your market? And what is the price point that your potential customers will pay? So you want to think about all those things as you're crafting. Remember that idea, will it be profitable? What is the market? Will I have support? And as you're gathering your market research. And then one other thing you want to always remember is you have to stay positive. Starting a business requires positive energy, positive energy. So as you're doing your research, you'll run into ups and downs, but you also want to remain to stay positive, because this is your vision, this is your idea, and it's as I say, you're birthing your new baby. Okay. Competitive analysis. Before you enter the market, how are you different? These are things that you should consider, key points to consider. Kind of pivoting to the things that I just said in the prior slides. What kind of competitors are there? How many competitors do you have? For example, Target has Walmart, and that is probably the biggest thing. Although they're different, Target has started to sell groceries similar to Walmart, but not as competitive as Walmart. How does your competitors position themselves? Is there a way that their marketing strategy looks? Understanding your competitors' pricing. pricing is always a key that you want to know when you're entering a market and how you're going to compete with that market, how you're going to be different. Because a lot of times, with the supply and demand, you may come in with a price point, but your competitor has 100,000 quantities that they order because of the supply and demand, and they're able to get a better discount and offer different rates to the customers. So as you're doing your analysis, those are things that you want to also consider when it comes to pricing. What are your competitors' strengths? And a lot of businesses, they look at what their competitors are doing very well, and then they kind of level in of what their strengths would look like. What are your competitors' weaknesses? So you take their weaknesses and you make them your strengths. And that's how you can kind of do a better competitive analysis as you're entering the market to kind of understand those things. But it's all a part of your market research and finding the need and entering that market so that you can set yourself different from the others. Because if not, you don't want to enter a market where it's too crowded and you're unable to compete. You want to stand out when you enter that market. For example, if you have a business, please drop it in the chat. As as we say, customer profile, and that's very important. So here's a particular customer profile. Meet Jamie. Jamie wants to create a natural hair shampoo for girls and women. After seeking guidance on starting a business from Latoria from the DC Women's Business Center, she started working on her business plan. When researching her competition and market, she finds several natural hair companies in her region, but few that are marketing specifically to young girls and their mothers or using 100% fresh ingredients. Further research reveals that the region has several commercial kitchens where she can prep the ingredients for her food shampoos. Jamie has found her customers and competition. This is just another example. She found the market. She's solving a problem, and she's found different ways to support. So her target market is moms and daughters, and she's using 100% fresh ingredients. And she's also found the fact that she can prep it with real food in a commercial kitchen. So that is something different from her competitors. So she's researched the market. And again, as I stated before, it takes time to do your analysis. I always say that Rome was not built overnight. So you want to make sure that you're gliding with your research, your idea, and you're testing it out. Some people just jump right in, but clearly from here, you want to have the proper tools and research to kind of help craft that business plan, because the goal is you want to be here to stay. You're not just creating a business just for this year and then you're gone next year. Your goal is when you start your business, you want to make sure you have longevity. You're here for 5 to 10 years. That is a good brand that you're building. So it takes time to craft that brand. And for those that may have children, we know it could take 9 months to have a baby. You're birthing something. So it doesn't just happen overnight. Okay, let's go to the next slide. The business plan. As I segue into what we pivot from some of the things I just stated, the 4 key concepts that you want to consider is very important when you're doing your business plan. The business concept is key. You have to know the business idea, the market position, what revenue model will I use, the product profile, and then as you go from that, which is the business concept, then you shift over to the organization of the business, the business process that goes into employees, partnership, legal, and you kind of craft that as a part of your plan too, breaking those elements down. Then you go over to operations. As we know that Jamie needs a facility and production and supply and demand. So she has to make sure that fresh fruits and vegetables, and that the commercial kitchen space is always open for her to make her shampoos. So that is also something that you want to, that an element of your business plan, as you're putting in there, like what if this facility shuts down? What if there's an issue here? You want to always craft that guidance within your plan to know how to pivot and change. Customer relations, how is my branding going to be? what does sales and marketing look like? And sales and marketing is one of the most important elements of your business, because you can have a great business idea, but if you can't bring that thing to life and market it and sell it to others, that is a little hard. And that's a part of the communications and the PR. And, as we pivot, we have, for those of you that are participating in the, that are local businesses in DC, Maryland, and Virginia, we offer LivePlan as a tool that we provide to our clients, where we will help guide you and craft your business plan. And I highly recommend, after this presentation, for those of you that are interested, to please sign up and for our counseling services. And I would be more than happy to walk you through the LivePlan process and to help you craft your business plan. So I think that was the last part of that one. So the other important element of your business is the financial projections. Is there a question in the chat? I think I see a question. So Angela, how do you get access to LivePlan? We can do that through our counseling session. So if you log on to WDCB.org, I'll have all that information at the end, where you can access and set up a counseling session with me. And I would be more than happy to provide that tool to you. But again, for those of you, it is a tool that we provide to our local businesses within the DMV area. So if you are out of state, we highly recommend that you visit the current SBA Women's Business Center in your city and to utilize their resources, because we work with our local businesses. Okay. So the financial projections is very important. The importance, starting your budget. We all know that, you got to pay to play a little too. I'll get to the next question. Is starting the budget. You want to kind of craft out your budget. How much is your expenses going to be? What do you foresee in your financials? Is there going to be funding? What can you expect the business to, when can you expect your business to become profitable? Because we all know it doesn't happen overnight. So do you have reserve cash available? You want to set the benchmarks for achieving financial goals. How do I attract investors and lenders of funding? Most small businesses don't have cash reserves, or some people who do start businesses will pull money out of their 401k, or they'll have aside money, but on the average, not many people do. They just have a product or service idea and they're starting from scratch. And so when you're doing your budget, you want to kind of see also, how much is it going to cost me to produce these items? Or what about the supply and demand, the facilities? How much is rental space? Am I going to be brick and mortar? Those are also costs that you want to affiliate. And then, am I going to have to pay employees? My startup costs? Am I going to have to pay someone to do my marketing, my accounting? So as you're doing your research, you want to start your spreadsheet and craft that budget of all the expenses that you foresee this startup is going to cost you. And I mean, you can just do all of your research. There's a lot of, we have resources and tools too, to kind of help you create those goals and kind of figure out those financials. But ultimately, when you're doing your projection, you're trying to make sure you're attracting investors if you need so, or if you're looking for lenders, for example, to get a loan. So I'm going to go to the next slide. Uh-oh. What should I include in my financial projections? So, the slides. Okay, sorry. It's moving a little fast. Okay, my apologies here. We went a little. Okay. Here we are. So we want to make sure we have startup expenses. Startup expenses can range from a variety of things. For example, your website, your licenses, the cost if you're buying a franchise. There's an array of startup expenses. You want to also make sure you look at payroll cost. Then you have sales forecast. So how do we, projections of how many months is it going to take for me to sell 1 t-shirt, 5 t-shirts? You want to also make sure you have operating expenses for the first 3 years in a business. This is always highly recommended because, truth be told, it takes, again, Rome wasn't built overnight. For a lot of businesses, it takes about 5 years before you start to see a real true return on investment. So it's good to make sure that when you're doing your budget, that you're budgeting for the first 3 years of operating as a business. The next thing is a cash flow statement for the first 3 years of your business. You want to make sure you operate with that you have that crafted for the first 3 years. Your accounts payable, your loans payable. If you have loans, if you're going to take out a loan, and you want to also project, again, we talked about sales forecast, but you can't, sales is repeated. So there could be a forecast of unexpected things that happen within your sales forecast, your purchases. And so it's just kind of knowing the cost that is going to be associated for your projections. And this also pivots to help you look more marketable for investors and as well as lenders. The small business accounting system. This is always an important thing because how am I going to keep track of my business? What methods am I going to use? Do I need to hire an accountant starting out? Most of the time you don't. You just have to kind of organize yourself until you get to that place where, this is what I can afford to do. It's important that you use a method that works best for your business, but you must consider these steps in your business. For example, QuickBooks is a great tool, and it's very affordable for small businesses to use as a system. You want to ask yourself, are you taking cash payments? Your accounts receivable, and then like the systems for your inventory. And there's all kinds of other tools out there, like there's Square, like so many different things. You can do PayPal now, you can do Cash App. I feel like an accounting system is developed every day, but it's just making sure that accounting method is perfect for your business, because depending on what you're selling, your services, you want to keep track. And if you're selling, for example, t-shirts, books, what is your inventory methods going to be? You might want to have a system where you're inputting things in it and you're keeping track in that formality. Okay, let me go to the next. I thought I saw I had one more question in the chat. Thank you so much. I'm in DC. I have time schedules. Oh, okay. Someone has an appointment. Okay, sorry. Okay, this is very important. As we talked about the financials, funding your business, the way you choose to structure your business determines not only how your business will run, but the success of it as well. So it is very important, as you're doing your business plan, the business plan will help you figure out how much money you need to start. As you craft that budget, and if you don't have that amount on hand, as I stated before, you can either raise the capital or borrow the capital. But it's very important to know, setting that foundation of how will I do this? All those things that we just talked about, and also seek out other ways to fund your business. For example, some people, I've seen it where they have friends and they send a group text message out and they say, hey, can you buy one of my shirts or my book or hair appointments? And they do gift cards, and they charge people $25 for services. And that is a start to funding their business. So it's all kinds of ways that you can be very creative, but you got to remember, whatever structure you decide upon, you want to make sure it's a good structure for you and you'll be successful within that structure. Okay, and here's another very important structure of your business is deciding on what type of business will you be. Will you be a sole proprietor? And for those of you that are, a sole proprietor is easy to form, and it gives you a complete control of your business. You're automatically considered to be a sole proprietor if you do business activities, but even if you don't register as any other kind of businesses, but the sole proprietor does not produce a separate business entity. So just know that. This means that your business assets and liabilities are not separate from your personal assets and liabilities. So you can be held personally liable for debts and obligations of the businesses, of your business or businesses as a sole proprietor. So the other format that a lot of people like to do is under partnerships. It's an LLC. And I highly recommend those of you, if you are trying to start a business, LLC is always a great way to start off. It's a limited liability company, And the advantage is an LLC lets you take advantage of the benefits of both the corporation and partnership structure. The LLC protects you from personal liability in most instances. For example, your personal assets, like your vehicle, your house, your savings, won't be at risk if your LLC faces bankruptcies or lawsuits. So depending on your business, it is highly recommended, what works for you, but an LLC is always the way to go. And, there's different ways for you to form an LLC. You can, there's different options and resources that will help you and guide you on that. If you have questions about it, there's information. We at the center can also kind of give you a little bit of guidance on that information as well. So the partnerships. So under the partnership form part of the LLC, there's simple structures for 2 or more people to own a business together. There are 2 common kinds of partnerships to keep in mind. So you have the limited partnerships, which is LP. Then you have the limited liability partnership, which is LLP. So the difference between the two is the limited partnership has only one general partner with unlimited liability. And all the other partners have limited liability, which means that the partners with the limited liability will also tend to have the limited control. So it's all about control over the company, which documents in the partners' agreements. The other things it comes down to is profits are passed through to personal tax returns and general partnership. The partner without limited liability must also pay self-employment taxes. So when you look at the limited liability partnerships, some of those are similar to the partnerships that give you the limited liability to every owner. So an LLP, remember, protects each partner from debts against the partnerships. They won't be responsible for the actions of the other partners. So a partnership can be a great choice for your business if you have multiple owners, professional groups like attorneys, or just different groups that, test their business idea before forming into like a formal business. Okay, and then here's another option. You have the corporations. It's called the C Corp. A C Corp is a corporation, sometimes called C Corp is a legal entity that's separate from its owners. So the corporations can make a profit, be taxed, and can be held legally liable. Remember, corporations offer the strongest protection to its owners from personal liability, but the cost for a corporation is a little bit higher other than a structure. And this is also important to remember. Corporations also require more extensive record keeping, operational processes, and reporting. So unlike the sole proprietor partnerships and LLC, corporations have to pay income tax on their profits. Okay, wait, is that? You can, you just have to change your paperwork over. And if you have a session with us too, we can kind of walk through some of those things as well. I believe it's Angela. You're welcome. Okay. So now we're going to talk, and so just remember this, how to start a business is we're just doing overviews of all of the important things that you need to start your business. And I highly encourage all of you to sign up for our services so that we can kind of go a little bit more into detail about what it is that you really need support in and resources to start your businesses. So we're just giving you an overview of like the most important things that you need to start your business with this presentation. So marketing strategy. Marketing is very, very important. There are 4 P's in marketing, which some of you may have heard. It's all about the product. Remember, we said before, you have to determine your product. What problem will this product solve? So product or service, it's what are you solving? Because that is a need, that every business has a need. The place, where will this product be sold? The price, consider all price points, distribution, retailers, and competitors. And you got to remember, price is that it's going to cost you to get your product, to get your fruit, vegetables, etc. To business permit, you want to make sure you consider every price point. Promotion ideas. How are we going to promote this? That kind of goes back to sales and marketing and building your brand. So you want to know crafting promotion ideas. So remember, there are 4 P's when it comes to a marketing strategy: product, place, price, and promotion. Okay, in marketing your business, this is very important, and it pivots for the things that we just talked about within the 4 P's. It breaks it down into a more of a marketing for your business. Create a website and purchase a domain address to market your business online. So regardless of what kind of business you have, you want to have web presence. There are so many businesses out there that are successful, but they don't have a website, and that they could be even more successful, because in order to really reach your market and to have a credible business, you need a website and you need a domain name. So you log on, and they've ran out of .coms, but they're doing like .co and o. Like there's different options that they're still creating, but you want to make sure your website name is available and you purchase that domain. Other thing is huge. Open accounts on social media. Networks with your brands as the profile name for quick business promotion. So I know some people don't do Facebook, some people don't do Twitter, Instagram, but that's how you sell your business. So many people are successful selling on social media. TikTok. People are making TikTok videos. So if you haven't heard of TikTok, that is the next wave. You want to make sure you're on TikTok and you're gearing up and promoting your business on TikTok. You have to drive the traffic to these online platforms organically using a catchy content. So all those hashtags that you see, you want to make sure you're hashtagging for your brand and you're driving traffic to the site. Also, use classified and word of mouth techniques to advertise your business. If you're in social groups, you're in all the Facebook groups, promote your businesses there. Everyone is online. I know we're zoomed out, but that is where you're advertising, and test it with the people test sales at local events, markets, to judge your business, because truth be told, before you truly invest, like some people take their idea and they say, hey, I'm going to make a few t-shirts and I'm going to go sell them at the farmer's market, or I'm going to bake bread, or I'm going to rent space from this hair salon and see how it goes before I start my own hair salon. Or I'm going to the same thing with a physician. Before I start my own practice, I'm going to go work with another doctor or dentist to just learn the strategy of how they do their business planning and their marketing. So create a digital marketing plan is very important. When you're doing your business plan, your marketing plan is even more important, because you have to be able to reach your customers. You have to pivot and change. Think about it. COVID happened a year ago. We were not prepared for this. So many businesses have had to pivot from being brick and mortar to coming up with ways of being online. Whether you were a tutor, whether you just did counseling, or everything is now virtual. So you want to be able to create that plan where you can pivot for situations like this. Hopefully we won't have this again in our lifetime, but you just know that you're prepared to pivot. Okay. The other important, as we talked about when you're doing your domain name and things of that nature, the name of your business should reflect the brand and business identity. So you want to make sure all of those things parallel with each other. Once your name is selected, make sure it is not used by a current business. And then the next thing is you want to protect your business name. And then we'll go into the steps of you want to register your business. It's always good to register and follow those rules whatever state you live in, and get those licensing and permits to protect your business. Here we go. Register your business. Take time to make it legal and protect your brand. It is very important whether you have a trademark. Some small businesses sometimes register with the federal government for trademark protections or tax exemptions. If you want a trademark for your business, brand, or product or name, you need to file with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office once you've formed your business. If you want to be a tax exempt status for a nonprofit corporation, register your business as a tax exempt. You have to do all those with the IRS. You get your EIN, determine if you're going to be an LLC or a nonprofit. We do know that some people start off saying, hey, I want to do the LLC, or I want to be a nonprofit. Then they pivot over into having a for-profit business versus nonprofit. And then they'll find like a nonprofit to just partner and do services with. You want to make sure you open a business bank account. Once you get your EIN number, then you're able to open up your account. And the most important thing is too, getting business insurance. That is important. Depending on what type of business or services you're offering, you should be insured. Like, for example, even now there's insurance for online, for people offering tutoring services, classes on Zoom. They have cyber security insurance because things are happening. So you want to know whatever market you're targeting, what type of business insurance works for me, because I'm not brick and mortar, but I do provide a service. And if I was somewhere and I got hurt, am I covered? Are my employees covered? So always look into that as well too. And insurances, and some people kind of get a little worried. It's just like paying for car insurance if you have a car. And if you're hosting an event or something, there's day of insurance that you can get, which may run you like $100 for a permit. And now, for those of you who are in Washington, D.C. starting a business, all business in D.C. must be licensed. The majority of businesses are licensed by DCRA, and it goes in this order. You want to make sure the business formation and registration is taken care of, the tax registration, certificate of occupancy. DC is really big of whether you have a business at home. If you are a home business, you need to have that permit stating that you have your certificate of occupancy to be a home business. And it's about $30 that you pay. And then you want to make sure you look at other licenses and permits to make sure that you're meeting the criteria depending on what business you're starting. And also DC is big about being a certified business enterprise. And so with that is giving you the CBE. Some of you have already heard about the CBE. It could take you up to 45 days to get it. It's a class that you take. It is on the local website. You know, DCRA has a lot of information on how you can sign up for it. But you want to make sure that you meet these requirements when you are starting a business in DC. Maryland is starting a business in Maryland, you know, and other states have other requirements, but still kind of like the same. With Maryland, you must register using the Maryland Business Express portal. They have a portal administrated by the Department of Assessment and Taxation. Maryland offers a step-by-step process to do your businesses online. Many businesses do require permits and licenses to operate in Maryland. However, in addition to business license, you might want to figure out the professionals you hire. They may need an occupancy license. Like, for example, if you're a speech therapist or you're offering some kind of counseling professional services, you want to know, do my employees also need licenses as well to be covered as you're doing your business license? Once you have registered your business, you can do the Maryland statewide search in the county of your business and to see what's required. So for example, if you live in Montgomery County, you can look up the local requirements for them. If you live in Prince George's County, Charles County, Anne Arundel County, you want to make sure you look up for that local jurisdiction, additional things that may be required. And as we stated throughout this presentation, establishing your business ID, your EIN number with the IRS, it's free. You call, it takes a few moments for you to get registered. And that identifies you as a federal employer identification number, which is necessary for business employee withholding, federal unemployment insurance, and other tax information. And you also need your EIN if you're starting a business account. Okay, now for those of you that live in Virginia, you're starting a business in Virginia, you need to decide again on your business structure. You have to pick your name in Virginia. You need to register your business. You also need to obtain your federal employee identification number, which is your EIN that we just talked about. Open your company, bank, and credit accounts if your company's going to have to get a credit card. You want to set up the accounting system, as we touched base on what works best for your business, and you want to be able to obtain licenses and permits. So you want to kind of just make sure that you follow those requirements within the state of Virginia. So, and lastly, we're almost wrapping up. The DC Women Business Center, remember, serves women entrepreneurs in the DC metro region. So if you're not in the DMV metro region, you can visit sba.gov/local to find your local women's business center, and to provide, they'll be able to provide small business support and providers to you as well. Okay, let's see. So ready, set, go. You are officially ready to start your business and motivated on this new journey, and best wishes. So you have the tools, the information that you need, and you're ready. You're fired up and ready to go. So I wish all of you the best, and I highly encourage you to sign up for our services and our counseling sessions. I would be more than excited to work with you and support you in helping you get started with your new business. Are there any questions? Anything in the chat? Okay, I see. Okay, we have, does DC, we do. We can provide you with resources. That's what our live plan is for. If you are a client, we do guide you and help you with the live plan. I'm offering services that will be delivered online. Do I still need? We can talk about that in our session. It just depends on what type of services you're offering for DC. But if you are a business in DC, they do, all home businesses, they do like to have a home occupancy permit, even if you're a mobile business and you're offering tutoring services, because your business address is based at your home. So that permit runs you about $30. Yeah, that's DC. You're welcome. Do I have any more questions? Oh, wait, there's another one coming through. Oh, it says thank you. You're welcome. I hope to see all of you guys. Some of the process, you know what, it will be where our website is. We have a new website that's launching. So we do send out the slides and things like that. I look forward to hopefully signing up. Oh, another question. Here we go. Oh, there's two questions. It's recording. Okay. So what we do is we recommend DC Bar. They provide pro bono services. We have a list of resources. If you have questions for other things, we can send that over to you too, Robin. Make sure you sign up for our services too. So I would love to have a session with you guys. My availability normally is on Mondays and Fridays, but I do have some time that's opening up throughout the week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And you can send me an email directly too. There we go. Thank you, Heidi. DCWBC.org, DCWBC.org. Any other questions? I look forward to all, oh, got another one. Yep. Oh, that's Heidi. Thank you. To register for our counseling sessions. I look forward to working with you guys. Thank you again. If there's no more questions. Uh-oh. Feel free to email. Yes, I'm glad this was helpful. You are so welcome. Start jotting down your ideas and crafting that plan. And remember to stay positive no matter what. Stay positive. Thank you, Heidi. My email is in the chat. Okay, I will stop. Thank you.